snake. What does chocolate snake taste like? And good job, by the way.
Chocolate snake. You know, I've chosen to block that traumatic event from my memory, so I couldn't really tell you, but it's not good.
Let me ask you this then. What was worse, living on PB&J for an entire week or eating that chocolate snake?
Well, see, I like PB&J, so that wasn't a problem. I lost weight.
Well, keep that in mind that it's a reward for you from now on then, okay? James, you won the high and dry veto competition by only 13 seconds. How grueling was that competition?
That competition was, I mean, it was an awesome competition. It was kind of, when I realized the 13 seconds and then, you know, Janelle by 17 seconds, it's you know, no offense to them, but it's good they're sitting up there because they're, you know, good competitors. And I don't know if I could do it again.
You did well as well. Thanks, James. Kaser.
Yes.
Pretty tense week in the house, in the Big Brother house this week, huh?
Yeah.
There was a heated argument in the yard between Eric and Michael and between you and Yvette.
Yeah.
How has the house changed since?
I think we've grown up a bit, we've matured as a group, and we've come to appreciate each other a bit more and learned our lesson.
Yvette, how do you think the house has changed since the outburst? Speak your mind, you always do.
I've chosen to try to control my mouth as hard as it's going to be, but there, you know, I'm speechless. You've got nothing to say since.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, house guests, and I'll be back in a little bit.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Coming up, who will be evicted tonight? The possibility of leaving the Big Brother house brought Janelle and Michael closer together. How close? We'll find out a little later. But first, it is eviction night. Janelle and Michael are not allowed to vote. Neither is Eric, the current HOH. All votes are cast in private in the diary room. Let's see what Howie, Sarah, and James had to say about the two nominees.
The only reason to keep Mike is that, as a player, he's not a threat.
I don't think he's as smart as people give him credit for, and he's really just, you know, not that strong of a player.
He just created so many enemies so fast.
Janelle, by far, is a stronger player than Mike. She's a better liar. She has no self-respect, so therefore, she's willing to do anything.
She would probably nominate some people who I myself or other people wouldn't be able to put up.
I love Janelle. You know, she's a good friend of mine and hopefully a future hookup of mine.
You know, if Janelle was to stay, you know, maybe she'd be able to do some of my dirty work.
Welcome back to Big Brother 6. It's time to talk with Eric, who is alone in the head of household bedroom. Hello, Eric.
How you doing, Julie?
I'm well, thank you. Now, just a reminder, your fellow housemates cannot hear you, so you are free to say whatever is on your mind, all right?
Oh, well, I've never had a problem with that, so.
Good, I'm glad to hear it. Now, you and Michael have had your differences. You thought he said something negative about your family. What did you hear him say?
Well, somebody had brought back some comments that he had made about my family and about my father and mother, to the effect that, you know, I must have been abandoned as a kid, you know, in Boston, and that's why I came to Vegas. Something along those lines. At least that's how it came back to me secondhand. And I think that that's always kind of a sore spot for me, just because my family means so much to me, between my mother and father and my wife and my two children. And being in a heated moment, on top of that, hearing that kind of set me off a little bit.
But it was secondhand, so you didn't actually hear Michael say anything, right?
Correct.
Okay. Do you think that things got blown out of proportion?
I think in hindsight, let me just say how I feel about everything is that I didn't like his behavior in the house. I didn't like his attitude in the house. And up until that point, he had tried to intimidate me a couple of times before the so-called incident. And all I can tell you is after that happened, that never occurred again, his intimidation tactics. So whether the methods were the right way that I went about making my point, probably not. But in the end, I think I got my point across and it was effective.
Well, let me ask you this. James, Michael, Kaser, and you had an agreement to make it to the end of the game together, except this week you nominated Michael for eviction. You have said several times that Michael broke your trust. How exactly did he break your trust?
Well, I noticed pretty much immediately after the last eviction, even prior to the last eviction with Ashley, that he was hanging around Janelle a lot. And I know, we both know, everybody knew in the house that Janelle and I are like oil and water, and she's a great competitor. And I always try to measure sometimes, at least sometimes I measure people by the company they keep. And he seemed to be getting very close to Janelle. And I know that if I had lost last week's HOH, I was up on the block, even to the point where she admitted that I would have been up on the block. So if I even have a thought at this point that I'm going to lose that trust, I have to go with, what I feel. I don't have time not to trust somebody in this game.
All right. Thank you, Eric. And you can rejoin your housemates downstairs in the living room.
All right. Thanks, Julie.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. In just a few minutes, Janelle and Michael will find out who's staying and who will be evicted tonight. But first, they isolated themselves from the rest of the house, and now a romance is heating up between the two nominees.
That little giggle of yours. That's cute. Very cute. Sexy.
What are you staring at?
Your face.
Why?
Because I like to.
Really?
Me and Michael had started out as a strategy. I was going to try and get really close to him just to get him voted off. But I actually really started liking him.
The perfume you wear is intoxicating.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I didn't come into this house to start a relationship, but I feel as if I've surprisingly have a very strong chemistry with Janelle.
I want to reach over right now.
Before I came into the house, I was dating a guy in New York, and then I met Michael, and I don't think I'll be able to go back to the guy in New York. It's incredibly uncomfortable for me to break up with someone on a television show. I'm sorry, and I understand if you never want to talk to me again. I thought Michael was something else just by looking at him, but in reality, he's really just kind of like me. He's kind of a snob.
We've kept it fairly secret, maybe.
Who is it?
I'm gonna get my bathing suit.
Hi.
Michael and Janelle tend to go behind closed doors in the gold room and spend a majority of their time together. They seem very comfortable together.
You ever watch Spider-Man?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would prefer if he was an investment banker or something, but I really think he's a nice person. I really like him for him. I mean, I know that he's not poor.
I have to.
It's developed to become quite romantic and sincere.
No.
He's so cute and adorable.